Miss Samantha, you are amazing. I want to start off by saying congrats to you on this film, Midday, Black Midday Blue. I mean, all the film festivals are picking it up, Seattle, Beverly Hills, Sun Valley, and Providence Town. I mean, how does it feel to know that people are selecting your film?
Nikki,
film.
Nikki, you're gonna make me cry on Zoom. I mean, I still struggle to put words to it, I mean, I have been an actress for as long as I can remember. It's what I went to school to do, and I've been a part of other people's work for many, many years. But this is the first time I'm stepping out and saying, here's what's going on in my head. Please don't judge me. And to feel seen and understood and embraced is incredibly moving. And I think, this story is so, it's such an experiment. We didn't know if it was going to work, and to feel the feedback come in and people express how moved they are, how affected they are, I mean, loss or pain or trauma, like it touches all of our lives. Everybody, it's gonna happen,
Yeah.
And yet we run from each other instead of holding each other close. I feel like, we get scared and push it away. And so what we wanted to do was create a moment, create 88 minutes of a moment where it was okay to feel what you feel, and that you're going to root for this character and their journey, but your own stuff is going to kind of slip in the back door and sit next to you too. And to see audiences get moved by that, to feel their loss or their grief, be given permission to come to the table and be present, has been incredibly moving. It's a real gift.
I know when I was watching, I was like going through so many emotions,
right?
Like, oh, I know when I was watching, I was like going through so many emotions,
right?
Like, oh, and then when I see you and you're acting and you're so, cheery, at times, I was like, it's just so many emotions and be sad, and then you'd be like, okay,
Yeah, right. But doesn't that feel like what it feels like to be a person? I mean, I feel that way in the course of the day, it's like, it's like you fall down, it's like Alice down the rabbit hole, you're like, I feel okay. And then I'm in tears, or I'm raging, or like, you're just in the sort of storm of what it is to be a person. I just think there is something so raw and brave and hard about getting through the day. And I am so moved by how people fight forward in themselves, and so I'm so glad that you experienced that while watching the movie, because that's exactly what I want. There's so much joy, and then there's unbelievable pain, and then there's hurt, and there's cruelty, and then there's beauty. And that's a day. That's a day in the life of being a person, like it's hard and it's brave. And I think humans are amazing. We are capable of incredible things and terrible, terrible, terrible things. So it's up to us to choose.
And you know what else I really, really love? The music. I love the music.
I know. Nora Kroll Rosenbaum. She's a genius. And she did, I don't know if some of you have already talked about this, but like Nora was my suite mate in college in the 90s. Don't tell. We're much older. We're much older than we look. But she's a breathtaking artist and really established. And so Daniel and I knew her from when we were babies, and she read it in the trades that we were going to make this movie and called us and was like, why the hell didn't you call me? And we were like, we can't afford you. You're amazing. We'll figure it out. And she just came on board with so much excitement and generosity. And she ended up raising the money herself to hire and pay an entire orchestra in Macedonia to record this score. I mean, Nikki, we're a tiny movie. We had no budget. We're little.
It's huge. When I was
gifted us.
watching it, I was
I mean,
just blown away.
it's wild, right? And like that, the theme song that you hear, that's sort of the live theme, you know, you get it right in the beginning, and then kind of it comes back and comes back and come back, is an old like 1700s sea shanty called Leave Her, Johnny. And so it's just this repeated echo of, you're going to have to leave, you're going to have to let go, you're going to have to let go, it's coming, it's coming. Mm-hmm. And she just got it. Like, she got our weird, wacky story, and she understood it. And then she kind of was like, forgive me for the metaphor, but like she was wind in the sails. You know, it's like we go to sea in that little sailboat in the story. And like, that's what we felt like. We like all got on the little boat, and we like, and she just breathed big wind into the sails. And I think that score elevates the movie in such a profound way. It's so like music's so powerful, just incredible.
It was. And also, you know, I know we talk about letting go. Was there any time in your life where you had to let go of something?
Yeah, for sure. You know, I think, as I said, I think loss comes to visit all of us. And sometimes you're ready for it, and sometimes it knocks you flat. And I think we don't have a lot of help for people in terms of when it knocks you flat, how do you get back up? You know, and how do you, I don't think grief is something that we should be required to get over, you know, or even necessarily to heal from. I think it's something that you absorb and live with, and it's integrated into who you are. And I think instead of treating it like something that you're like, ooh, get it out, you're like, no, it's okay. It's going to be bittersweet, but how do we live with it in a way that's healthy and not that's drowning us? And I think that's sort of the journey of Ian, of Chris Stack in the film, is like living in a place where it's unhealthy. His clinging to it, he's holding on too tight. And like, she's not going to leave, you know, the people we love that we lose, you know, you can't call them on the phone anymore, but you can talk to them. You know, they're still with you, and they're with you in the way that you, by living your life, bring them forward. You know, the more you do with your life, the more of a life they get to be a part of, I think. So, you know, figuring it out. I'm still figuring it out, you know, like how do we do it? How do we do it being human? I know. It's hard. And how do you make space for the bad feelings as well as the good ones? There is a lot of joy, and happy is a good thing, but pain and anger is valuable too. It's important, because if we just shove it down, it's going to kill us. It's like, and we got to get better at listening to each other, you know, and holding space for somebody else's pain, even if it's not your own. You know, how do you get more graceful about that? That's what we're trying to do.
How did you get in your zone with writing? You know, writing this, it's just,
I mean,
it takes a lot out of you, I know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm newer to it. You know, I mean, the reason Daniel can't be with us today is that he's really a full-time writer, and he's a WGA member, and he's on the picket line today, you know. And so I think out of solidarity to that, maybe we'll come back and we'll meet you again, and we'll talk more about the writing when, you know, once we get to a sort of fair and equitable negotiation. But, you know, I think it's, as you said, writing is incredibly hard. It's so brave, and you're making something out of thin air. You know, it's like spider web. It's such a breathtaking thing that writers can do, and that I'm trying to learn how to do, you know, as a newbie writer. Like, it's, I hope that the WGA gets to fight for what they deserve, because we have nothing. We don't have writers, you know. Story, poetry, films, TV, they're our comfort. You know, they're the safe space to, you know, I had a great writing teacher who once said that all stories are windows or they're doors. and they will let you in to something, or they will show you a world you don't know. But it's a way in. It's a way to understand, and it's a superpower, in my opinion. So
It is.
yeah,
It is. And speaking of Daniel, you've worked with him on many projects. I know y'all was in college together.
Yeah, that's right. We met as babies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We were classmates. We were little kids. We were just kiddos, teenagers, and we were classmates at Juilliard. And I always joke that we were the only two people at Juilliard, because Juilliard's a very amazing school, but it's a real classical school. And Daniel and I were the only people there with like purple hair and ripped up jeans. So like we're like, I see you. You're a weirdo like me. Let's be friends, And then we've been together. You find your pack, and I am a real believer that like there are the families that we're gifted, that we're born into. Sometimes that's not always a gift. Sometimes it's a gift, but you get given a family when you come onto this earth, and then you find more family along the way. And Daniel and I found each other, and we've just been making stuff together ever since. We did a lot in the New York theater, and as we both transitioned into film and TV, of course we keep going together, because when you find somebody you like jamming with, it's really
look
fun.
Look at what's happening.
I know, right? Look at this thing. It's crazy.
Now, what is the difference, I would say, with working with him and the other projects versus this project?
Nothing. That's a funny answer. But again, because I've been making story with Daniel longer than I was alive without him, so it's part of how I know to be in the world. We finished each other's sentences, it was a joke on set that we would talk and we thought we were like talking, and we'd be like, yeah, I know. Oh, okay. And then everybody else would be like, what was that meeting? Like, I couldn't get any of it, but like, so this, as we shifted art form, we went from theater and we started moving into film. It just felt really natural. It was just getting bigger. It was taking stuff that used to be imaginary, and now, like when you're coming up with a play, it's all in your imagination, and then the actors in their imagination. But when you make a film, it's in your imagination, and then it's real. There really is a sailboat, and there really is the ocean, and there's really that cliff, and like it was so exciting, and kind of we started coming up with this as an idea in 2020, and we filmed it in the early spring of we went out there in May, so June of 2021. So it was like right when we were starting to get vaccines. It was all very fragile. It was scary to be coming out of your bubble, and I don't think we could have done it with a bigger, we needed to be a family. We needed to be a little tiny pack, and I think that sort of delicate bravery shows up in the movie.
It does. It really does.
We were scared, and we were lonely, and we'd been isolated, and then we were like trying to get ready to come back out. And this movie was the bridge. We all went back to work after this, so it was this kind of transitional space, sort of getting ready to try again. And I think that's what the movie is trying to champion. It's not hike to the top of Kilimanjaro and come back down, and it's really about like that. Can we cheer when a character says, I'm ready to try? That's all. I'm ready to try. And that's it. And that's a huge accomplishment. And that if all of us could give ourselves a cheer when we're ready to try, it's not, you don't have to win. You don't have to get to the top of the mountain. You just got to try. And that's breathtaking and brave.
Watching it just gave me hope, just watching it. Like I said, you go through so many emotions in watching this film, but it's like it's taking you on a journey.
Yeah. Oh, I'm really glad to hear you say that. That's what we wanted, Nikki. That's what we wanted. but I'm really glad to hear you say that, you know, that like that you felt that in watching it. That's
Yeah, I
really
did.
gratifying. It means a lot to me. I can't tell you. Thank you.
Yes. And I wanted to know too, like, how did you balance out from writing to directing, and you was acting, all of these things?
I mean, I took some years off of my life. I have more gray hair now than I did beforehand, Nikki. That's the truth. But also, I don't know. I think life feels brief. You know, it's fast. It goes really fast, and I wanna experience anything that I can, anything that somebody will give me permission to try. I want to try. So, you know, this was one of those experiences where the world was sort of scary, and all of my acting work was shutting down, and it's how I know how to be. You know, it's how I know how to interact with the world, is to be making art. And so you kind of just had to, like, you had to go in deep. You had to do anything. Everybody in our film did more, like all of our producers are in the movie, you know, like we made everybody come and play, you know, and like I think that kind of lent itself to it. You know, it's a little cast, and everybody was wearing multiple hats, you know, and like when you weren't acting on set, you were like doing craft services and making snacks, like, you know, and I think that sort of we're there for each other in a really in a brave way, and and so it felt right to be like, okay, you know, you got to paddle. Everybody's got to paddle. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna paddle with this, and then you're gonna paddle with, you know, and you just try to do as much as you can to get the story out into the world.
And look, June the 12th in LA theaters, Midday Black, Midday Blue, and in New York on demand, June 16th. I mean, it's here.
It's amazing. It's a miracle. I mean, and we're so grateful to Good Deed Entertainment for like taking us on. You know, it's an incredible thing to try and, you know, as I said, we're scruffy. You know, we're scruffy little kids, and we like to make art in our basements. You know, and like, but it's really been incredibly moving to have people root for us and support us, and to take us on and say, no, we're gonna give this movie to the world, you know, and like take it out, and it's gonna be online, and people can watch it at home. You know, it's really beautiful to me. I'm so grateful.
It is. And then the biggest cities, New York and LA. You can't get no better.
No, I'm color me grateful. Like, I'm just humbled by the whole thing. It's really taken my breath away. You know, it's such a lesson in hard work and luck. You know, like that somebody sees you is an incredibly lucky thing. It's so hard to make a living in this life. You know, it's just hard. And when somebody sees you and sees how hard you're working and wants to help, it's a very moving thing. So I feel like somebody came along and said they were going to help us. that's pretty incredible. Because there's a lot of movies. I mean, we've been in all of these film festivals, these incredible movies that aren't getting bought or aren't getting into district, and you're going like, what? How can that be? But, you know, it's a market, I guess. I don't know. I don't have a business degree.
I mean, that is just so awesome. Just to see people, you know, getting so much great feedback on this film. I mean, I can imagine what it's going to do on the 12th. So
thank
you. Excited.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And I'm ready for more already. What's next?
We got a new one. I mean, Daniel and I had fun coming up with this with the two of us. So we thought, well, two was fun. So let's get 7. So we got 7 writers and 7 directors, and we're in edit for a new movie called Ain't It Though? And it's about a Black non-binary drag queen out of New York City who goes on a road trip to find their birth mother. And it's so fun and so joyful and so full of love and found family and sort of launching yourself into the adventure of the unknown. And we filmed that last year out in Ojai and Palm Springs, and so we're in edit for that. So stay tuned.
Yay. Well, I'm just so excited for you. I thank you, you know, for taking the time to talk with the Nikki Rich Show. I know you're getting ready for this big day. So what are you gonna do? What are you gonna be doing?
I'm probably going to be on set in North Carolina because we're going back for season 4 of Outer Banks, which is on Netflix.
Okay.
I don't know if you watch Outer Banks, but I play
Yes,
Kiara's mom on Outer Banks, so so we're going to go back down. And I'll probably be with my OBX family when it drops. So it's
okay.
pretty funny. I know. I wish we could have it feels weird to not have like a big party or something, you know?
Yeah,
I
party.
know, I know. So maybe we'll try and all get together on a Zoom and do a toast.
Yeah, that would be awesome. The
Yeah.
cast, the production team, everybody.
Yeah,
Amazing.
everybody. Well, that was partly why we wanted to premiere the film in Seattle, because that's where we shot it. So our whole crew got to come to the original premiere at the film festival, and that sort of felt like our opening night. So now you're like, now it leaves us and it goes into your home, and that's sort of that feels right too. You know, we let go of it and it goes out to sea.
They can see it on demand too on the 16th.
June 16th. Anywhere that you can rent a movie online, you can get Midday Black, Midnight Blue.
Well, thank you again. Much love. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's such an honor to speak with you and so grateful to meet you. Thank you, Nikki.
Thank you. Thank you.